Hi there, it's George Graffy again. Just call me Geo. Think about it. Today, I thought I'd introduce you to my cousin IC, who will tell you about some geographical history which led to a war between the states. IC is very much into history, so we thought we could present this together since it's geography with a side of history to boot. IC, why don't you explain?
Howdy, my name's Mr. History. That's with a hyphen. I said that's with a hyphen, son. That's kind of like a dash. You know, like Olivia Newton-John, don't you know? Most people just call me IC from my first name's Ichabod Cornelius.
IC, they don't care about your hyphen. Just tell them about the Toledo Strip issue, which led to the war between the states.
Right. You're probably thinking that Cousin Geo is referencing that bigger war between the states known as the Civil War.
Well, this one took place about 26 years earlier, and it was between two northern states, Michigan versus, Michigan versus Ohio. And it wasn't about a football rivalry because football wasn't even around then.
Just stick to the facts, will ya?
Well, that is a fact, son. Football wasn't invented until 1892. Anyway, the Toledo War, 1835 and 1836, also known as the Michigan-Ohio War or the Ohio-Michigan War, it depends on your point of view, I suppose, was a border dispute between the states of Ohio and the adjoining territory of Michigan over what is known as the Toledo Strip. That's that little red patch down there in the corner, the little wedge. In 1787, after the Louisiana Purchase, a law was enacted which said that Congress had the authority to draw a line from, from the southern tip of Lake Michigan all the way to Lake Erie in order to form a couple of states. Unfortunately, surveying wasn't as exact as it might be today, and no one specified any latitudinal line, and so both Ohio State and Michigan, a territory soon to be a state, thought they had control over a strip of land along the mouth of the Maumee River and the town of Toledo. Control of the mouth of the Maumee River and the inland shipping opportunities it represented and the good farmland to the west were seen by both parties as valuable economic assets. Things got so serious that both Michigan and Ohio sent their militias to the Maumee River near Toledo, but fortunately all they did was taunt each other from one side of the river to the other. You know, like they'd say things like, "Your mama wears army boots," and that kind of thing. Well, Congress and President Andy Jackson finally stepped in and came up with a compromise, whereby Michigan gave up claims to the Toledo Strip in exchange for statehood and a bunch of land that we call the Upper Peninsula, 'cause they knew no one's mama wore armor boots back then. So, Michigan got 9,000 square miles of minerals and timberland in the Upper Peninsula, which is above Wisconsin, and Ohio got the port of Toledo and the disputed Toledo Strip. So by December of 1836, everything was settled, and now they just had to wait 56 more years for the football rivalry to begin.
So who do you think lost the Toledo Boundary War? Well, here's a surprise.
It was Wisconsin that lost because that territory would have gotten the Upper Peninsula when it eventually became, a state, if it hadn't been given to Michigan to settle this dispute. That's why Wisconsin isn't so fond of Michigan in football either.
Thanks for your insight, IC, on football. Now that that's settled, here's another little geographical oddity of which you may not be aware.
Canada is north of the continental United States, also known as the lower 48. However, do you know the only place where a person in the continental U.S. can enter Canada heading due south? Here's a list that might help you. Try eliminating some. Detroit? Michigan? Think about it. Well, the answer is Detroit, Michigan. If you take a look, you can see that you have to go south in order to enter Canada from the city of Detroit. Nowhere else in the continental United States is that true.
Well, that's all we have for today. So remember, IC?
Those who don't know history are doomed to, they're doomed to repeat it.
And if you don't know geography, you're just plain lost to the world. See ya.
See ya. Y'all come back now. You hear?